Welcome to the XSF podcast, hosted by Devante and Lou. This is the podcast to show that every human is capable of being extreme. Tune in to discover how you are too. All right. We got our man, Jake Hayes, here with us today. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. I think it really does deserve a round of applause. Yes. Hey, this man, if you don't skateboard, go on YouTube, type in Jake Hayes. I'm going to be showing you some clips today of him. And if you do skateboard, I'm sure you know who he is. Jake, could you introduce yourself real quick for us? Just kind of tell us who you are, where you're from, and how you got into skateboarding.
For sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked to be here. Well, my name's Jake. I'm from Sydney, Australia originally, and I started skateboarding when I was about 6, I'd say. So that's 23 years now. So yeah, quite a lot of time dedicated to this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's definitely a grind, but it's worth it, right?
Definitely. Yeah, it's tough, but it's definitely worth it physically and mentally in the end.
Exactly.
It can put you in a really good spirit, you know?
I actually have some questions regarding that later on. I'm gonna ask you about when you said the whole mental side of things, because I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned through skating myself. And
For sure.
yeah, so you're from Australia originally, correct?
Yep.
And when did you end up moving over here then?
So I moved over here, I think it was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
It was around the time that I'd just gotten on Deathwish, and everything was kind of then starting to like take off for me. So it seemed like the best time for me to move from Australia, because I just won Skater of the Year in Australia too. I think that was in 2016.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say you did win Skater of the Year over there, right? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, and that was kind of like what helped me build up my name a little more, I guess, to come over here and be like, have my foot in the door and all that sort of thing.
That's sick. So it was kind of like a catalyst for you to be like, all right, let's get it cracking. Let's do it now.
For sure, because I mean, when you win Skater of the Year in Australia, it's kind of like essentially like the highest achievement you can reach in Australia, you know?
Okay.
So after that, the only next like natural progression is to like move to America and, I don't know, see what you can do over here, you know?
Is that like what like previous skaters of the year from over there have done then? Like, is that
I
kind
mean,
of a
yeah,
normal?
yeah, for sure. I mean, it started with Cale Nusk. I don't know if you remember him. He's an older Australian
Yeah.
skater.
Yeah, I was gonna say older, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he rode for Cliche. He was, I think he might have even been the first Australian skater of the year. But starting from him, you know, like he came over here and lived in America. Then like Chima, Dustin, Dane, like a lot of people eventually moved over here and did that. So it kind of just seemed like the right like footsteps to go in, you know.
No, that's awesome. And I think
So
it's pretty cool to see how skateboarding's been able to lay out a path for people like
hmm
yourself. And I have a friend. I don't. Have you ever heard of Tanner Van Vark?
yeah, for sure.
I grew up with him. He's like one of my best friends.
Oh,
And
sick.
yeah, and just like seeing the path he followed, like with Third Layer Skate Park that we go to here and stuff,
hmm
and it's
Yep,
pretty cool what the skateboarding community can do if you just kind of accept it for what it is and just have a good
for
time.
sure.
So that's
Exactly. And
awesome.
yeah, if you find your like right crew of friends who want to like, you know, help
Yes.
you and uplift your skating and like
hmm
see you excel and stuff, it's like it really does help as well.
Yeah. And did you have a pretty heavy crew then over in Australia as well, like while you're skating, or?
I mean, yeah, I have all like my homies and stuff who have always been like better
Mhm.
than me, you know, and so it's like you surround yourself with people who are better than you, you're only gonna like
Yep.
improve, you know, and then like you know who Dane Berman is, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he was like a childhood friend of mine. I grew up with him essentially from when I was about 13. We like
That's
skated,
so
yeah, we
sick.
skated with all the same people, and then like because he was sober, I kind of took that same approach too.
That's awesome. So so you said you are sober then?
I mean, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't really drink. I don't really drink or anything. So
Do you smoke weed?
yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah, we talk about it all the time on here. So yeah. All right,
yeah,
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 I
for
mean,
sure.
yeah, no. Okay, cool. That's awesome, man. I actually was just watching the thing you do at Trans World. You're showing all the amazing skateboards you have, the amazing
Oh yeah,
skateboard collection. I want to talk about that really quick.
For
because
sure.
you brought up Dane, and I saw the board you had and all that. And so when it comes to all those boards, have you just been accumulating those like since you were 6, kind of like since you started skating, or when did that all start for you? Because that's if I'm gonna post it in the show notes for people if they haven't seen the
Yeah, yeah.
video. But your board collection it's off the charts. It's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So it actually started maybe I'd say 3 years ago, I'd say. And it's like me collecting,
Wow.
it's me collecting boards that I've wanted when I was a kid that I wasn't able to get, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
some of the Andrew Reynolds Birdhouse boards that came out and it's
Mhm.
like they were a little too expensive or whatever. And I just never ended up getting it. Now it's kind of like reliving that nostalgia and being like, okay, I can get that board. It's maybe a little more expensive, but
Mhm.
I'll have that board. And then when I have my own house one day, I'll be able to put up these boards and it's like kind of like art, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I
So
love that. And I'm trying to. I mean, I got a little bit going on in the
for
background here.
sure.
I'm
Yeah, I
trying
like
trying
that.
to get a little going. But it's I just love the fact that I mean, you started it 3 years ago, and it's that big. And
Yeah,
obviously,
for
like this has
sure.
been something on your mind for years because you said you brought it back to
Definitely.
childhood. So that's awesome.
Definitely.
I
And it's
think.
like, it comes back to like watching old videos and shit too, you know, where like you see like a graphic, like
Mhm.
a glimpse of a graphic, and it's like, oh shit, I know exactly what that graphic is. And then you
Yep.
find one, and it's like the hunt is almost the best part where you're like, okay, I got to find this graphic. It's so hard to find, you know?
Yeah, and you know it's crazy that you say that. I was just talking to somebody. So like dopamine, one of the good hormones we get, the feel good
Yeah,
feeling, right?
exactly. Yeah,
So like when you're doing something like that, it's you're getting a dopamine hit from that hard work, and I think that same thing comes from skating. And it's just funny you say that because you enjoy that process almost more than getting the board. And I noticed that a lot in the skateboarders. That I don't know if it's something we just got through skating because you enjoy that process of learning a trick, and then you land. It's like, cool, I can enjoy this, but like, what's next? Kind of
yeah,
thing. So
exactly. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. And it's kind
it's
of the
cool.
same feeling, definitely, because you know, I've spent like a grip of money on these boards. You know, they're not cheap, and
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but like they're all just sitting under my bed in boxes.
Hmm.
And it's like I should have them all out. I mean, granted, there's like 200 of them under my bed, but like, so they're
You
obviously
have a
not all going to
heavy
go on the
board
wall.
wall. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have a
exactly.
that'd be hefty.
So it's like, but yeah, I don't know. It's almost like the thrill. Like, okay, I actually have this in
Hmm.
my possession now. I can just like not even worry about it anymore.
Yeah, that's cool. And I really liked that in that video you were doing too, not even just the boards, but you have some pictures of just like Reynolds and all this stuff that,
Hmm.
kicks it back to old school. And how you said like everybody who stayed at the house, you have something from them.
For
That's something
sure.
I haven't heard of. And I think that's really cool that you started that because that's just building a awesome just plethora of stuff you'll have from all these amazing people. So, man,
For
I
sure.
think
And
it's so
like
great.
9 times out of 10, there were people that like I looked up to as well.
Hmm.
So it's like it means even more, you know? And so like all the photos and everything, it's like that's from the era of skateboarding that I really like the most. And so
Yeah.
that's just where I hold it, you know. And then so when those
Yep.
people come through and they're like cool and they leave us something or whatever, it's like I
Mhm.
don't know, it's sick. It just adds a little more like sentimental value to it.
Yes, yes, it does. It's funny too because I think because how old are you again, Jake?
29.
29, right? So yeah, so Baker 3, all that stuff
Hmm.
you grew up with, and I think
Yep,
it's awesome that you went that route even like as you came here, getting on Deathwish and all that,
for
and
sure.
following that team. I think that's pretty. Was that something you had like insight from watching like that type of stuff when you were younger, or was it just something that kind of like naturally happened to be?
I mean, when I was younger, it was always like, yeah, sick, it'd be dope to ride for Baker, but you know,
I
like
think every kid has that too.
of course, yeah, but there's
Yeah.
there's no way like I could have hung with the dudes who rode for Baker back then. Like imagine me going on I couldn't imagine myself going on a trip with fucking Reynolds, Ellington, Greco when they're all like in the middle of their like heyday of being like wasted and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine what those like I wouldn't be able to hang, there's no way.
No, 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 not at all.
And and so
I'm the same way.
the dream the dream of riding for Baker kind of ended there always. It was always just like, well, that'll never happen. I'll just
Hmm.
admire from afar. It's my favorite company, my favorite skaters, whatever.
Hmm.
That's like how it's just always going to be.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it seems like skating kind of shifted from being like, I don't know, wastoids, I guess, to like,
Party party animals and to
yeah,
actually start to care a
exactly.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now people are going to the Olympics and stuff. And so like the whole vibe of going on a skate trip changed. There's not like,
Hmm.
there's not as much, I mean, focus on going out and partying and stuff like that. Everyone's hungry for clips, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not so
I
much
love
like that
that.
anymore. And so like it's the same with like Deathwish and Baker. It's changed
Mhm.
where like the people on the team want to go skate. They don't care about going and partying, you know.
That's
So
so sick. I love
it
that.
got to a point. It got to a point where it was like achievable to where like maybe I could hang with the people who are on the team and like I could just skate and like that's it. That's good enough, you know. And so I don't know. Yeah, it like just ended up getting to a time where I asked Dustin in Australia that like, can I skate, just ride baker boards while I'm in Australia, you know?
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah, sweet. And then it all kind of just happened from there.
that's sick, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm
I
stoked.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just super cool. Just the journey that took for you, just like letting it sit back and accepting, like, okay, like that's not my scene. I think. How old are you when you kind of decided that? Would you say?
I mean, it really came down to one of my friends. Like it's like something that my friend said. He told me one time. He's like, "What was like what's the company you would ride for if you could?" You know, the
Mhm.
age old question. And I was like, Baker. And he's like, "You really think you can hang in the van with the Baker dudes, like doing what they
Mhm.
do?" And I
Mhm.
was just like, "Fuck, you're right. That's like a harsh realization, you know. Like there's no way I could."
I'm
And
that's.
so
I mean, I applaud you for that though. Like even just because I know it seems like some people could like their dreams would overtake like what they know themselves can
yeah,
handle or
yeah,
actually like
for
deal with,
sure.
and they would just ride with it and try anyways.
Yeah, for
So I
sure.
mean, much respect for you for that, man. That's crazy.
Thanks. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I feel like that comes back down to hanging out with Dane at such a young age where he was
I
so
bet.
like gung ho about like not drinking and smoking and doing all that shit where
Hmm.
he kind of like nailed that into my head and pleasing him and like not pleasing him, but like I guess him appreciating me and like wanting to be my friend and stuff and like help me through skating was
Hmm.
more important than like trying to show off and get wasted and do like dumb shit to like
That's amazing.
impress people, you know?
Hmm. That's
So
amazing. It sounds like he was a huge factor in like
for
you just
sure, like
continuing what you did. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
yeah, he like I don't know, he's done a lot for me throughout my like skating career, you know, like
Hmm.
definitely owe a lot to him for sure.
Yeah, hey, that's awesome. And I love that you said like the shift happened because I noticed it
Hmm.
too, like in skating itself. And I mean, that's why I do what I do with extreme strength and fitness now because it's like
For sure.
as a business as a whole, we want to show everybody they're capable of being extreme because that's just something I realized through extreme sports. Like watching
Exactly.
skateboarding, snowboarding, being a
Hmm.
skateboarder, snowboarder my whole life, all this other stuff, and
Yep.
also looking at, I was in the army for a little bit and then watching my mom be a single mom my whole life. And I
Hmm.
started to realize like there's more to it and everybody is capable, like everybody is extreme. They just have to see how they are themselves. So that's
For
the
sure.
catalyst to it. But for me as a coach, I want to be the dude that really is pushing it out there now that everybody is taking that shift. And when you go on the
Hmm.
skate trips, there should be a coach. Like somebody should have a coach with them going with. Like that's
For sure.
hopefully where stuff can go. Keeping everybody healthy because I mean, like you said,
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
hungry for clips right now because
for
skateboarding
sure.
just keeps progressing like crazy year to year. It's insane. Like just video part to video part, it just gets crazier.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like and it's not slowing down anytime soon. And it's like imagine
No.
being out on a mission, like going on a trip and then after a hard day, like having like a coach being like, all right, this is what you need to do. You need to
Exactly.
like, you know, foam roll for this long, fucking jump in the
Hmm.
ice bath, bloody, I don't
Yep.
know, do
Do
whatever, you
these
know.
stretches, yeah, some mobility stuff, whatever, and like
Exactly.
just having that, it's like in your back pocket too. It's just, I see it happening. I see it
For
happening.
sure. Yeah. It's
Speaking on that, I want to ask you because like one thing I think about training, and everybody always asks me when it comes to like when skateboarding and being the coach or whatever, how do you increase your pop? Right?
uh-huh.
I'm sure you knew this was coming because
Yeah.
this man is known as the king of ollies 2020, whatever you want to say. And I have some clips I'm going to be showing in the background demonstrating this dude's popping ability. But tell me, how did you just practice it a lot? Because I myself, out of my crew, seem to have like the most like wanting to go over big stuff or up big stuff, like stairs
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. So the pop is there. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how you ended up doing it. Like, was it just practice? Like every trick you do, like that tray flip, even is just pop. So I'm just wondering, like, how did you do that?
See, I don't know. It like it just seemed like a natural progression, you know. It was never really
Hmm.
like something where I was never like super tall or anything when I was younger. So it's like never like I
How
had
tall are you
this like
now?
I'd say on the border between like 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, really? God, you look a lot taller too in video for sure.
Yeah. So I mean
Huh.
I'm like definitely tall, you know, but like when I was
Mhm.
younger, I wasn't on the like taller side. I was small and like,
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't known for like having pop or anything when I was younger, but I don't know, it just seemed like that's just where it migrated to. I just started like, I just like skating out of kickers, like out of a bump.
That's
And
what I
so
was
it
gonna ask you.
started,
Like, did it just like all of a sudden you just started skating over stuff? You're like, oh, how high can I go? And then just like
that's,
from there.
yeah. Well, like, I mean, I guess initially it started like being at the skate park really young and like
Yeah.
launching out of quarter pipes.
Boosting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that. That
exactly.
was the funnest thing.
For real. And just like to the flat, flat
Yeah.
bottom or the flat
Yep.
ground on the
Just
top, of the
boom.
deck.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, that shit was cool. Obviously not ollieing, but
Yeah, you're just launching.
yeah, but still, I don't know that height. I don't know if that translates to anything to do with like wanting to skate over bump to bars or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I just found that that's what I migrated to, and like just found that that's what worked for me. And I don't know, I slowly increased from skating over small stuff to like bigger and bigger. It's like, and
I think that's so cool.
that's how you work with every trick too. So it's like
Yeah. No,
you
yeah, of course.
start low and build it up.
Yeah, I think that's just super cool. 'Cause I mean, I think you can see it too in a lot of skaters. Like if you know somebody from a younger age when they're skating and you just
For
kind of
sure.
watch them, like you can
Hmm.
almost see almost like how they're going to skate in the future, unless
For
they just go
sure.
and change their whole style up and stuff. But usually, like, you kind of catch your groove at some point and you're either going to be that technical
Exactly.
skater or you're going to
Yep.
be, just ollieing big stuff and doing big
For
bumps.
sure. Yeah,
Uh,
so I don't know. Yeah, it just seemed like it was the route that happened, and so that's just what
yeah,
I don't know. It's just what happened. I don't
that's
really have
cool.
like an explanation. I don't really like have anything for it. It just
It just
I don't know.
happened.
Yeah.
That's so I love that though, because I always tell people that too when they come to me with that question. So I'm like, well,
Hmm.
yes, there's stuff you can do in the gym to increase your
Yeah.
pop. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong,
Exactly.
but the best thing you can do, honestly, is going to be get on your board and just practice alling higher. Like it's just that
Exactly.
it's specificity at that point. Like I only can do so much in the gym to get you stronger and more powerful,
Hmm.
yes, which will have translation. But if you do that, but don't really focus on the ollie, I mean, how far can you really go? So it's funny. It's pretty
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot. Like how
Mhm.
do you like pop so high or whatever? And it's like I could tell someone going to the gym is going to help or whatever because it
Yeah.
is. It is going
Mhm.
to help, but I feel like then I'd be leading them astray because that's not something that I do. I don't go to the gym, so
That's
I
why I
don't
asked
know.
because
It's
it was
like
like that's why I want people to know like yes you can definitely do it without going to the gym because it's like
for
that's where
sure, yeah.
the specificity of skating comes in because it's I have this conversation with people all the time where I have such a respect for skateboarding as a sport due to the
Hmm.
fact of the skill level to strength level because it's really weird because the skill level is very high but the
Yeah,
strength
for
level
sure.
seems to be you know I don't want to say low because for some things you have to be very strong, especially for landing some of the stuff that you do, all that stuff that takes
Yeah,
strength.
yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to like football or something like that, right? Skill is pretty
Definitely based
low.
on strength.
Yeah, strength is up there. So
Hmm.
it's cool how with skateboarding, I mean the best way you're gonna get better at it is by skateboarding. Like that's the
Exactly.
bottom line.
I mean, no one's going up to anyone and being like, "Oh my God, that guy's such a strong skater." It's like that.
Exactly.
It's
No one cares about that.
yeah, it's like, oh, he must be really strong because he can move that like 8-inch skateboard around or 8.5-inch
Yeah,
skateboard around. Like no
exactly.
one's really like thinking that. It's not really based on that. It's definitely based more on like you said, like the skill and the technique of
Hmm.
what you're doing, spending more time on your skateboard. Because like I don't know, I feel like maybe it's just like maybe for me it just comes down to timing or like the technique of the way I do my tricks is what works for me
Exactly.
and that's how it works. So it's like the way I bend my legs, everyone's different, you know?
Hmm. And that's
So
what's nice about like a coach, if you can get yourself a coach, is like somebody like myself. That's where the gym would benefit because then it's like okay, I can work
exactly.
with your body type, I can work with your angles you
Hmm.
have, and show you like how can we use this to the best of your abilities, and then how can we build upon it?
Yeah,
It's just
it's
dude.
like
Okay, real quick, that kickflip is actually what put me on to you. Funny enough, like so I knew who you were, but then I saw that clip. Was that in the Numerica video or was that the I can't
that
remember. It was this one.
this one right here. Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
in Uncross, the Deathwish video.
Yes. There we go. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
That one, when I was just like, oh my God, dude, just the pop you had like that. I don't know. It's just something about it was so fascinating because it popped right up to your feet. Like, it's just so bomb.
what's funny is that I actually did that 3 times in a row, and um, you like luckily the fisheye version isn't showing because it looks horrible fisheye. Like the way I did it is horrible, but luckily my homie who filmed it from front on it made it look good somehow.
That's
It
funny
was
you
like,
said that because I used that angle too, just because of like not because of that, but the aspect of just looking at the drop and stuff. But I think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
funny that
for
you said
sure.
that.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
the other angle's bad.
How is that with skating too? Because like I'm just more recently getting into filming with street skating and stuff. Because I
Mhm.
was going with the homies all the time with Third Layer and stuff and all that. But I was kind of a kid. I just talked about in a recent episode where I got kind of comfortable like with where I was at and like just smoking weed, chilling, not really trying stuff or whatever, and just watching the homies skate. And
Yeah,
so now I have like this different drive. I had surgery on my ankle, but once I'm back to it, like I have this just different look at
hmm
things. I'm looking at tricks different. I'm looking at spots different. Like I'm coming. Like it's coming.
for sure. Yep.
But on that note, when it comes to filming and stuff, does that psych you out? Like, do you see when you have a filmer on you or following you, or if you've been trying something for a while, do you get kind of just some psychological things going on? Like, oh, I wish I could just land this for them. Like, I feel bad. Like, how are you feeling those moments?
I mean, see, I can be like a freak when I skate sometimes, like I could get to a spot and like freak out in 3 minutes, or I could freak
Hmm.
out in 3 hours. I don't know. Like most of the time it's in 3 minutes. But
Most of the time,
so yeah, so I don't like
under a lot of
I
pressure.
yeah, like I try it's pressure that I put on myself, but
I
I
was gonna
try
say,
to
is it? Yeah.
yeah, I try too hard and try not too hard to like put the pressure on myself and that I'm wasting the filmer's time, because hopefully the person who's filming me is getting paid to do what they do.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like they're getting paid, and it's like uh, not that's no justification for being like a torture to them. Like
No,
I never want to like torture a filmer with
of
anything,
course.
but I don't know, like I do my best to like, I don't know, make sure the filmer's all good, and like that
Hmm.
the filmer is like just as much on the in the day as I am. Like the relationship between the skater and the filmer, there's no difference. Like I don't feel that
Yes.
like skaters are better than filmers, so that skaters' time is more important or anything like that. I feel like the filmer is just as important, if not more
If not
important,
more, I
because
was just gonna say that myself because, like, I know
yeah,
every time I'm skating, not to cut you off, but I just know every time
no,
I'm skating, it's like uh, I always have that feeling of I want to land this because I want to do it for like the filmer's sake. Because it's like I see him
exactly.
getting beamed on by the sun, sweating. Like I know
Hmm.
I'm out here trying, but like at least I'm preoccupied. Like this man's just
For sure.
all right. Let's go.
And like
It's like oh
I feel like it can be hard for a filmer to stay motivated too during that. You got the fucking skater
yeah.
over there freaking out, and then you're like, the filmer's just there, got to be like, you got it,
Hmm.
man. Like you got this shit. Like don't stress. But like, and then yeah,
They
with
gotta
all the
keep
other
you up,
factors,
and it's like they're already like damn, man, it's taking a little
yeah, like
bit, like
hurry
in the
up and
back of their
fucking do this
head.
shit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's like, but I mean, I feel like that all comes down to the relationship you have with the filmer, because hopefully you're not
Yeah.
filming with someone who's a random and like it's a little
Who
more
doesn't
awkward
like
or
you or
something.
something.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like the people I try to film with know how I am and know how I work, and then
Mhm.
vice versa. I know the way they work, and
Yeah.
it's like it just works correctly. And that's how I feel like the best footage is produced.
I was just gonna say when it seems to be like that crew of people that you're just already comfortable about like being around, which seems to be the
Hmm.
case for most pro teams. It seems like it just kind of is like, all right, this is a
Yeah,
natural thing.
yeah.
I think it is kind of weird though for just looking from like my perspective, from just like a hometown thing, like people trying to skate, you know,
Hmm.
just get out there and skate. Like whether you're
For
gonna
real.
get filmed or not, because that was one of my problems. Was like I would get salty because like I would try something and I wouldn't get filmed or whatever. It's like just go
Yeah,
skate, just go have fun because it's like
for
that's like
sure.
you said when the best things are gonna come about, whether it's a clip or not. Like that's
For
just when the
sure.
best stuff happens.
But that's the hard thing these days. See, I'm lucky enough that I grew up skating in the time where like the Instagram and everything wasn't even, there was no such thing as Instagram. So
I'm
you're
glad you
not
brought that
worried
up.
about,
I'm
yeah,
super happy you brought that up.
yeah, you're like not worried about being filmed all the time. It's just okay, I'm going out
Yep.
today and I'm gonna learn new tricks and progress. I don't care
Yep.
if no one sees them. I'm just gonna do this. And then
Exactly.
and then come
It
like
wasn't for any
Instagram and shit.
validation other than your own at that point. Like it was just,
That's
I want to
right.
learn this.
Or the
Hmm.
homie that you're out skating with. And it's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
and then but now it's like you got to feed this content machine, and it's like you just have to keep going with it. And like
I struggle with
I
that sometimes.
me too, but like I understand it. Like I
Hmm.
understand this thing that we have to feed into and why, but it is definitely it definitely becomes like torturous at some point.
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that because yeah, I mean, growing up, skating was we would literally I would put in a 411 DVD, I would watch a
Hmm.
411 DVD, I would grab
Yep,
my skateboard and I would cruise down the block to the church and I would skate the parking
for
lot.
sure,
That was
for real.
that was it. And
Best
I remember
feeling.
when Instagram first came out, like I still like I'm not one who sits on. I try not to sit on there and stuff. And even
Yeah,
when I was little, like when all the homies were kind of getting into it, I was always just like, I'm just trying to skate, bro. Like I'm
for
good. Like
sure.
you can film it if you
Hmm.
want, but I can definitely see the pressure behind it for, younger kids coming up, trying to just prove something. But that's the thing too, is like don't do it for that. Like just do it for yourself. And
For
like you
sure.
said, there's a rhyme or reason behind it. I do understand it, but this is a fine line. I feel like
Yeah,
definitely a
for
fine
sure. I
line.
mean, I see it from the point of view where like companies want their team riders to sell their products, and that's
Exactly. Or like
obviously a
my
great.
business and stuff. Like it's just, it's there for a
Exactly,
reason.
for sure. And
Hmm.
it's an amazing tool. I probably wouldn't be
We wouldn't be
as
talking,
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be as well
it
into
has
the
its stuff.
skating game. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be as like well in the skating game if I didn't have Instagram, and then
Hmm.
that started from like, when I was like 16 or something. So it's
Yeah.
like it really does help, but like I said, it's a lot of content to have to feed at a constant time. If you don't put something on there every day, you lose followers. It's like,
Hmm.
and it's like
Hmm.
I'm not putting shit up for validation. Put shit up because
You want
it's
to show
like a
you're here
nice.
still. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like I'm still
And it's
doing this
also
like just for fun.
for sure, and it's also like a nice little log of like tricks. Like I went through my Instagram the other day and I was like, holy
Hmm.
shit, I've done like a switch heel back 5-0. Like I've never even didn't even think I've even
I
done
was
that.
just
But
gonna say that. Like it's kind of
yeah,
you just kind of have to shift your like perception around it because if you can look at it
for
like that,
sure.
like a bank for you to just utilize for yourself, like, okay, how
Exactly.
did I do here? Oh dang, look at this trick. I did it way better this time than I did 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago or
yeah. Or
whatever.
like, oh, I can do those. I might just go try and film one in the streets. I've done one
Boom.
before. Yeah. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so it's like it helps in that way. It's like a good little archive.
Yeah. I love that you said that. That was a perfect way to just lead off on that because that's exactly how I'd recommend anybody use it if you're skating. Like, yeah,
For sure.
post every day, but post for the fact of posting your skating, posting your progressions, and watch that yourself, and
Exactly. Like
use it.
go back from like day one and be like, oh shit, like I couldn't
Yes.
even ollie, and then go to day fucking however long, and it's like cool, I can board slide a flat bar now.
Yeah.
Like I've
Look at that.
progressed that
Yeah.
far.
It's
So
crazy. That's awesome. I love that, man. And I
for
want to talk
sure.
about real quick falling for you. I have a falling clip, and I'm sorry to do this to you. Probably really hurt.
Oh
This is
shit.
from your Trans World video with Frankie.
Oh yeah, the back 5
This
0.
was, yeah, dude. Okay, you already knew
Yeah,
what it was. This was a
for
little blown
sure.
on the TV, but
Yeah,
oh my goodness, dude.
yeah.
How was that? How just I mean, I can kind of see what happened. Looks like the pop just didn't work in your favor and just caught up.
Yeah, that bump, it's got like a big bump to it, and it's
Oh, so
kind
that
of
like
like
at the front of it? Okay.
yeah, it's like a big like ski jump to like this flat bar.
Oh,
But
okay.
the thing is, the bump sends you way higher and way further than what you need to go. So it
And you
would
already
send you
have
like
pop too. It's like
so it's like I have to like you kind of have to like downgrade it a little bit, and so
hmm.
I did that, missed the pop, but still put my foot on the rail and just I don't know, straight to
Oh,
my
just that
hip and my
trip.
elbow.
Yeah. Did you get injured at all from that or
I mean, it was just like I actually had like
bruise?
a wart on my elbow at the time, and it took that off my elbow, and then
Oh, oh,
which I was actually pretty stoked on. But then
yeah.
my hip was just like I don't know, like a Charlie horse, it was
Yeah, it's
dusted.
big. Yeah, just dusted off. Just super, super bruised, probably.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I got up and like walked it off and shit, and like was fine for the rest of the day and all that. Drove home and everything, but like was
Mhm.
definitely chilling for a little bit afterwards.
What is because I know what goes through my head, in those moments. And when you've been skating for so long, I think you just pick up on it. And it's funny because I heard Jimmy Foy talking about this on his most recent Nine Club he was on, and he was talking about
Uh-huh.
aerial awareness. And when you're falling, you're just like, oh, but there's those times like this where it's like there's no catching yourself. You're going. In
Yeah.
that moment, did you have that saying in your head like, "Fuck, all right, it's coming." Like I've
It,
had that before, so I'm wondering if you've had that with this.
Well, the thing is, that spot I've seen, I think, two people before me get rocked on that spot, and there's
Oh,
like footage.
oh,
There's footage of similar things happening to people. And so
yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. I'm going into the situation knowing what the
Hmm.
outcome could be. Like I'm ready for that shit to happen.
Yeah.
But when it actually did happen, like it was so quick. The only thing I remember thinking about was like, am I broken? Like when I hit the ground, I didn't know if I was like broken
Yeah.
somewhere.
Because
Like
you
I got
hit
up.
hard. Like,
Yeah, and I like got up quick because I'm like, can I walk? Like I don't know what the fuck even just happened. Like it was so fast.
Yeah, see, that's what I was gonna say. Because there's those moments where it slows down, and there's all of a sudden you're just on the ground too. The next,
For
it's like,
sure.
what the heck, dude? Like,
For sure. Yeah, it's like it can be bad, but like I mean, it got away pretty good for something like that happening, you know.
that's
But
what
imagine like a normal person that doesn't skate that happening to them.
that yo, you'd be blown. They're hip. That's what I was gonna say, dude. That's why I asked you if you got injured because, if I took grandma grandma Sue off the street and she
Yeah.
just fell off of something that high like that,
Yeah,
she'd be broken,
for sure. Yeah.
and it could be detrimental probably to her. But with skateboarding, I know, yeah, we're younger than a grandma, but it still has validation to go. I mean, if you took somebody my age and did that to them that didn't skate, I'm sure they're
Exactly.
not going to
Yeah.
handle it as well. So
For sure.
it shows the resiliency we have from
Hmm.
falling and all that stuff. And it people always ask me like, oh, do you train for falling, stuff like that? It's like, dude, no, you just got to go out there and fall. Like, there's
Exactly.
nothing
Yeah,
you
it's gonna
can really do in
happen.
the gym. Like, you just got
And
to go
it's
out there
like
and fall.
every time you mess up a trick,
Mhm.
the fall can potentially be different every time. So you can't train for that.
Have you ever
Yeah.
had one of those things where like I've had this happen like more recently before I got hurt. I was just messing around this little circle bar and it was like warm up time. I was just going to do a 50-50 and it was like one of those lock-ins where thump, and you just slip out and just stomach the rail.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's not do that again. Next try, just do the opposite thing and just heal out. And I was just like,
Dude,
I'm done. I'm good. I'm gone. I was like, I'm done for the
just
day.
overcompensating for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. It's just skateboarding. I love it to the fact of no, it's not the same every day. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you skate, it's never going to be the same day in and day out. Like you could go to football practice and yes, it's going to be different. Don't get me wrong. Or you can go to hockey practice. It's going to be a little bit different. Don't get me wrong. But the games, all this stuff, it seems to be in a pretty particular order. I'm not saying that doesn't take skill. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But just with skating, I think that's why I gravitated toward it because it was something different every day, but it was
For
something that I
sure.
was also familiar with. It was
Yeah,
like this
for
comfortable
sure.
feeling, but then you get on it and there's also times of like being very uncomfortable. And I think that's
Hmm.
probably helped a lot of us skaters push ourselves to where we are today. Just getting
For
in
sure.
more uncomfortable situations. Because I'm sure getting on Deathwish was kind of weird and just starting off like getting on a team and just an
Definitely.
uncomfortable
Yeah.
thing, but you did it.
Feel like you just moved to a new school, like sort of thing, like, oh, new guy at
Yeah,
school,
yeah,
like, I don't know. But yeah, it's like definitely, yeah, that's the thing. You go out today, do a kickflip, and it could be the best kickflip in the world. And then you go out tomorrow and it's the shittest kickflip and you just fully airball it. It's
yep.
like,
Just rocket it and it's just going all over the place and
yeah, and it's like if someone was watching you on both those days, they'd be like, wait, what? Like, what the hell is going on with this kid? But that's
hmm
just the way skating is. You can't be the best of the best all the time, and you can't. I don't know. It doesn't always work out the same.
That's the part I love though, is because once you can accept that, it's such a freeing feeling because it's like, all right, I can suck today, whatever. Tomorrow's another day. Like,
For sure. See,
it's like, I mean, I do get mad at times. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I get there, I'm like, I should be able to fucking skate better than this, but
for
it
sure.
happens. I'm pretty sure it happens to everybody.
I'm
But
the same too, but it's like that's something I've come to learn like as I got older is
yeah,
like just appreciating the fact that if you're out skating, that's good. Don't even worry if it's a shit day, whatever, because at least you're out skating.
yeah, exactly. At least you can use your body in that way, still do the things you're doing, and that's like
Yeah.
this ankle surgery for me because I've had plenty of injuries growing up. Like I had a
Hmm.
vitamin D deficiency when I was younger. Didn't know
Uh-huh.
until I was like 15. I had already been skating for a couple of years at this point, so I've broken both my wrists, cracked a vertebrae in my neck, broken a knee,
Uh-huh.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later to like I started getting better at that and getting stronger bones. But
Hmm.
you know, when it comes to just the consistency of skating and getting back to it. I'm just wondering because I'm like going into my injury side of things. When you got injured, did you ever have a time where you couldn't skate, and how did you deal with it? Because that's kind of where I want to go with that. Because I know that's what I'm going through myself right now is
Hmm.
finding ways to be okay with not skating and not pushing myself to go skate before I'm ready. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
if you've ever had that before.
Yeah, I went to Woodward a couple of years ago and I was skating like one of the mini ramps is Woodward East out in Pennsylvania.
Is that when you were with were you guys was like Jamie and all them there skating like the mega ramp and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember that. Okay, yep, okay.
Yes. So we are out there skating there that time and I was skating a mini ramp with Jamie and Tom Knox.
hmm
And I slipped out awkwardly and sat on my leg sideways and I
Did you
uh
post that?
Yeah,
What was that called?
I think I might have
I
posted my
think I
ankle.
remember that. Yeah. Did you like you
Yeah.
folded back on it, right?
Yeah, like essentially like my back foot slid off the tail and then my top half of my body leant backwards onto my leg.
Yeah. So the leg folded out and like the hip
Exactly.
kind
And
of
so
went in. Yep.
exactly, yeah. And so it, like I got up and I was like I looked at my leg and I was like, fuck, my leg looks like completely twisted, you know, like in my bones
From the
look
hip.
twisted
Yeah.
inside. And I was like, oh, I'm fucked. And I like, you know, like I walked and I was like, no, there's something wrong, you know, like my knee and my
Hmm.
ankle are both fucked. And
Hmm.
so that ankle injury, my knee ended up healing fine. It was all good.
Okay.
But that ankle injury ended up lasting like, you know, I still have pain with it now, but
Hmm.
um it I couldn't skate for it was probably about 10 to 11 months, I'd say. No
Yeah.
surgery, no surgery. I just had it
Okay.
in a cast for
Okay. Did you break it
um
then, the ankle, or?
I think I can't remember exactly what I did. I think I tore the ligaments and I think there was a fracture in there too.
Okay. Yep.
And then I can't remember exactly what it's called, the little zone in the front of your ankle that gets the hot pocket.
So so where the talus is. Yeah, so
Yeah,
right in the
yeah.
front of your ankle. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bone called the talus that kind of underlies, and
Okay.
sometimes that can be out of position, and it seems to give you that pinching feeling in the front of your
Yeah.
ankle. Mhm.
Is there like a sac in there too, like a sac of fluid in the
There
front of your
can be
ankle?
from injuries, so like it depends. Like if you've rolled your ankles and stuff,
Okay.
that can cause fluid buildup at times. So it
Yeah.
depends. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I had like the whatever problem it was with the front bone. And
Okay.
so yeah, I was out for 10, 11 months and then that's actually when I started collecting boards. That
Oh,
was like
okay. So that's how it started.
that's exactly what got me into that and that like kept my mind off it. But now like the board
Hmm.
collecting's kind of slowed down a little bit and now if I'm hurt it's kind of more just like car related stuff. I've kind of gotten into older BMWs lately, so I'm kind of
You
just
were just at an E30 show,
yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Your car, man. Oh,
Thank
so
you.
I got two kids, a wife.
Yeah,
One day I will have one of those when my kids
for
don't need me to
sure.
drive them around.
For sure.
That's what I want, man. That's
Definitely. Yeah,
awesome. How was that show? I mean, off of the skating topic and stuff, real quick. How was that?
that shit was sick. It's supposed to be like the biggest E30 meet in the world, I guess, you
It
know?
looked
And so
huge.
yeah, there was a lot of cars. There
Never
was at
seen
least
that many
like
of them.
for sure there must have been at least 250, 300 of them and it was
That's so
I don't know, it's
sick.
crazy to see that many people who are all that enthusiastic about the same thing in
In the
one
one
area, you know?
car. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like not obviously like take skating out of the picture because obviously that happens all the time. Lots of people,
Mhm.
one
Yeah.
area, but I don't know. This is just kind of crazy. It's kind of sick to be around.
Yeah, I bet, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It looked like a good time. It looked like it was just really really cool. And some of the
for sure.
cars, man, like the some of the paint that they had, and there's some unique
Hmm.
stuff out there. That's pretty cool. I mean,
For
same thing
sure.
with
Yeah.
cars with skating too. It's like you could have the same car, but it could be
Yep.
so different. You know,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably why you gravitate toward cars, dude. Like, I mean,
Yeah, for
most
sure.
likely.
I mean, I was never really into it growing up, but then like, I don't know, Ashod has one of these and then like, I don't know,
Is
I
that how
kind of
you
just,
got into it?
yeah, I mean, he took me for a ride in his like it it must have been like 6 or 7 years ago now. Like it was a long
Yeah.
time ago. And it was like before I moved to America, it was just when I come out here and stayed and I was just like,
Hmm.
oh cool, this car's sick, you know, like it's dope.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 5 years, I'm over here looking for a new car and I'm like, my homie's like, you should get an E30. And I was like, wait, a Shod's E30 was sick. I should
Yeah.
get one. That would be dope. So then I ended up getting one and now I'm
Mm.
like so into it.
That's so cool, dude. That's so cool.
So
So you do this all the own work, all your own work to it then?
no, I have a homie that helps me out with it. He's a mechanic and has a shop and stuff. I don't
That's
really
always
know
so clutch.
for
So
sure. Like
clutch to have a mechanic friend.
I don't know what I'm doing, you know. So he'll help me and then like also like teach me what's going on with it.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. Yeah, that's
yeah,
sweet.
so
It's a learning
I'm trying
experience.
yeah, for sure. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about it just so I'm not so like dumb, you
That's
know. Like
cool.
it's imagine how nice it would be to like break down on the side of the road and be able to diagnose the problem, you know.
Yeah, and be like, okay, here's what I need to do or get to get it done.
It,
Yeah. No.
exactly, yeah, and it's like not like I mean, I always growing up, car issues were always so scary. Like, if, oh my God, is my car going to break down? Like, am I going to be stuck?
Yeah.
But now
Like when
it's
I was
like, all right,
16, I remember that. Just like that feeling of not
dude,
knowing anything about a car and just being like, yeah, I'm out here, but I don't know what to do. Like,
yeah, it's like it's so scary. But then I guess it comes that scariness kind of goes away when you kind of have a little bit of money too, and it's not like all right, well,
Yeah,
I'm going to be
yeah,
spending my last fucking $100 on this tow truck if my car breaks down, you know?
yeah. Because that's a hard spot to be in when you know it's like, okay, well, there goes the rest of my stuff just to move my car.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, that's
Definitely.
a
It's
pretty
like,
hard thing.
for sure.
That's I think it's super cool that, obviously you can see your passion runs deep in a lot everything you do.
Yeah,
Skating, collecting boards, the car, like, and
for
that's
sure.
probably why I gravitated toward you because you can just I mean, it's out there. Like you can see it. At least I can
I,
for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. I wanted to, I want to play this real quick actually. It's just funny because I think actually me and you connected over something like this. You just dropped down the set, right? And I thought
Yeah.
you did something where you did that, but you did like like a hippie jump off the stairs, and I thought that was so funny. And then we
Yeah.
just connected over it. Was that just for that spot specifically? I was just wondering, did you not ollie just because of the fact of wanting to have more time to set up for the other trick, like so you could just kind of pop off and be set up already?
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you
Mhm.
see the rail going up that goes
Yeah,
up next to me. Yeah, it's like I don't want to ollie and like, be going super fast and then like end up getting wheel by and falling forward into the rail or
into
anything.
the.
It's like
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
just want as least impact as possible so I can go up the ramp with as much speed as possible. And
Hmm.
then yeah, so
We even can see too, right when you land, your foot's already there for a back one, pretty much. Like you just had to scoot
yeah,
that back foot back a little bit, or the front foot back a little bit, and that was it.
yeah, for sure.
Nah,
It's just
that's
like
cool.
just to make it easier.
Do you do that like a lot, like with some tricks when it comes to like? I think there's actually another clip I have. Yeah, this one right here, where you kind of ride down a little two stair, and then you do this huge. It's a back one or backside flip, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a big back one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
So you
yeah.
got this ollie. Oh, you said you did ollie. Okay, that one you did ollie. So
Yeah, because that one's actually like a bigger double set.
I was gonna say, yeah, it looked a lot. I was gonna say when I first, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that dude, that one is huge. That
Thanks.
that that back one is huge. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
that one's in Sydney. It's
Is it?
I mean, yeah, it's like a famous double set that like all OG skaters used to skate back in the day, and Chima's done a bunch of shit down there and then like
Yeah, I was gonna say Chima. I was gonna say I know I've seen Chima do tricks on it before.
for sure. Yeah, it's like actually like a pretty big double set, but then Lizard King actually ollied to the street and it was
Is that
I
where
don't
you
know, it's
got it
what
from then?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And he bombed down like ollied the double set and then did it, and I
Yep.
was like, damn, that's like the perfect way to get speed to skate that to the street. So
Yeah, because like
it
how
just seemed
you'd
like
have to run, you'd have to run so fast, throw down, and have no pop time
yeah,
if
for
you just
sure.
ran up.
For sure. So it's like you can fully just bomb down that whole marble hill, cut in, and then just like scoop a
That's
little
so
ollie down the
sick.
stairs, and then you're just landing on perfect marble to like take off.
How is the skate spots over there? Like compare, like do you compare like the skate spots at all from when you're on Australia to here? Like, is there any similarity? Is it a lot different? I'm just curious. I've just never been over there, seen skate spots too much. So,
See, there's like a difference. I grew up like kind of skating Sydney City, and
okay.
so the vibe of the city is very different to like where I live here in like Hollywood and like downtown LA and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the city of Sydney is more of a New York style vibe where it's
Okay.
you leave your front door, you're skating around the city, you don't get in the car. I mean, you can get in the car and go skate out in the suburbs and stuff like that, which is also
Yeah.
always sick.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you just skate around the city and skate the plaza, not so much plazas, but the I don't know the areas. See, that's at Martin Place. That's like a really famous spot with
Okay.
like the 333 and then the big four block that people used to skate back in the day. It's like
Hmm.
pretty famous spot. So yeah, I don't know. It's like that's the only way it's different. Like I really do miss that about Sydney.
Yeah. Just
So
having that different feel to it and stuff.
yeah, for sure. It's like, you just like see, I didn't live in the city. I would drive into the city, park my car, and then just spend all day in there skating around.
That's how I am right now. So I live in West St. Paul, which is right outside of St.
Okay.
Paul. So
Yeah.
and I can literally from my house skate down this big bridge to
Uh-huh.
downtown,
Oh,
have a great
sick.
time, and then come home. But then I have all these cool little cutty spots up here in
Hmm.
my little area that not too many people skate, and I can just go skate and have a good time and not really worry about anything. So
Yeah,
I
that's
feel you there.
perfect.
It's nice. It's definitely nice having that.
For sure. Yeah. As I moved to America, they actually built a skate park across the street from the house that I grew up at. Like
Oh,
the one,
really?
yeah, the one that I moved from to move to America, they built a skate park, and then I was just like, of course that shit happens like the
Right
year
when I
that I moved.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
like come
real.
on now.
So that like
Dang,
would have
that's
been
crazy.
that would have been fun to have that like growing up. I wouldn't have had to have gone into the city as much, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, it it's probably, I mean, good. Yeah. I mean, everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
For
You got
sure.
what
Better
you
to be
got.
skating in the city anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, parks, don't get me wrong, parks are amazing and stuff,
Yeah,
but when you're just cruising through the city, like, I mean, there's just nothing better. The sound of the sidewalk, I don't know, just everything about it. It's
it's
just
the
so
best.
amazing. It's the
For
best.
sure.
I want to ask you about these two bag nose blunts
Yeah.
for two reasons.
Uh-huh.
Both of them are popped high as hell, and I can't tell which one is harder. So I gotta know. There's this one on this white hubba that you
Uh-huh.
did, and it
Yep.
looks like it was pretty flipping hard. And then you have this one here, which you have the video with Frankie in.
Yep.
Which one of those is harder? I just got to know because both those are huge, man. Those are just huge back nose blunts.
So the one that was definitely harder was this one, the one on the brick
This one,
hubber.
okay.
Yeah, because it's just short, so you don't get much time to slide. And then the ground at
Yeah.
the bottom is brick that's completely fucked from the New York winter and summer and all that bullshit.
Oh
And
yeah, I didn't
so
even really look at that. You can definitely see that. Okay, yeah.
yeah, and so we like rebondoed the ground and like refixed it all up and stuff, but it was still so janky and like you can kind of tell I think I get caught on some bricks, but managed to get
Yeah,
through
when
it.
you're riding away a little bit, it's like whoop. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
for
little angle
sure.
you can see it. Yeah, yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
but
Yep.
then the white one is at like a famous spot, it's like it means more to me because it's a spot that people have skated throughout the years and it's like
Yeah, because I
I
was
don't
gonna say
know.
that's an iconic spot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. And so I was like stoked on that, but I actually did that one I think 4 or 5 times.
Did you really?
Yeah, because
Gosh,
I
man,
don't know.
I think it's so cool. I mean, because I mean, sure, you probably just one. Were you just not happy with the way you landed it, and then probably just something
Well,
just
I
wasn't
mean,
right?
I learned that trick maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and I was like, that's the one I'm going to do it on. I'm going to do it on UCI Hubba, and that's just how
Oh,
it's going to
so it was
be.
one of those things. It was just like it's happening. Like it's. I learned it. It's
Yeah,
going there. Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
but
I like that.
the spot had been capped for so long, like there were skate stoppers on it and all this shit
Hmm.
for so long, and then like hear random rumors like, oh, UCI Hubba skatable again, someone took the caps off or whatever, and then like five
Shout
years
out to
later,
whoever that was.
for real, 5 years later, I was like, all right, like I've heard it's unknobbed, we have to go, and
Yep.
like we'll just do it, and then. I don't know. Essentially, I mean, I don't know. I guess I did it like somewhat easier than I thought I would,
Hmm.
and
You know,
I was like,
I almost can tell you. You want to know why you probably did it easier than you thought? Because you thought
why?
about it so much.
For sure.
The visualization of that. Like
Yeah.
I've had that before where I've literally dreamt about doing a trick, and then I go to the
Hmm.
spot and it just happens, and I'm like, all
For
right,
sure.
cool. There's something
Yeah.
there.
Like I did that back nose blunt a million
Yeah,
times before I'd even done it.
yeah, yep. And
It's
it was
like
just comfortable muscle memory. It's just boom, boom. You just had to take it to that
for
spot
sure.
now.
And
Yeah,
like I didn't even. It's not like I even like. I never trained or practiced for that trick at that spot. I never like
hmm,
went anywhere and was like, all right, I'm gonna
to
do this
specific
just in
hubbas
case.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No,
It
that
was
makes
just like.
sense.
But yeah, I don't know, it just happened. And then when I did it the first time, I was like, all right, well, I waited 5 years for that. Like, I
Just
don't
kept
know if
going. Like
that's,
that felt good.
yeah, for sure. I was like, I don't know
That's
if that's
sick.
the one that I waited 5 years for. So I'm gonna do another one and make sure that like I get the right one and that like when I
Yeah.
leave, I'm stoked. I don't want to go home,
Yep.
watch the footage and be like, fuck, it was kind of shit. I need to go back and do it
Yeah.
again.
Dude,
So
this one that they put in here, I love it because it just shows the really the realness to the spot, especially from this angle, because the height of it, like you rolling up to it and seeing it compared to you, and then
yeah, for
also how much
sure.
you slide to and just the land. Ah, it's just dope. It's super
Yeah,
sick,
I'm,
man.
I'm stoked on that. I feel like if you can get the above, like the top angle, then you should
Hmm.
always try and get it.
Yeah, dude, I agree because it's like it just shows just the whole situation of what's going on around you. Because there's
Yeah,
times
for
where I've
sure.
gotten clips and I'm like, damn, that was a lot harder than it looked. Like, it's
Yeah,
all
for
right.
real.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
for
everybody's
sure.
had that. But
Definitely.
no, this one definitely looks hard. I love that you yourself, went and just landed it once or like, all right, cool. Because I know, I mean, me myself have done this before where I've like I thought about a trick, I landed, I'm like, all right, we can dip out of here.
Yeah,
When I mean, you yourself have thought about it for so long, it's like, all right, I landed it once. Is it really the one I want? Let's just keep doing it and pull it out
exactly.
five
Yeah.
times. That's cool, man.
I'm stoked. Thank you.
That's super sick. So to end today's episode, I mean, I just really want to ask you just a couple questions. So
Hmm.
we asked you about the nose blunt. Now I want to know, so when you skate, do you listen to music? That's kind of one question. We're gonna add another one in there. And then if you do, what kind of music? And if not, why not?
Okay. So, when I'm actually like during the act of skating, like I don't wear earphones or anything like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just because when I was younger, I was always told, like, going to the skate park and stuff, you'd see people with earphones in and shit, and like they wouldn't be able to hear their surroundings or anything like that. You know, they're just kind of completely oblivious to everyone else that's at the skate park.
In their own world. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, I was always told that that's a no go. You know, you need to be aware of the situation. Like, fuck running into a BMX bike at the skate park when you're just rolling on a skateboard. That shit hurts so much. And like, if you can't hear them coming, then like that shit's gonna happen. You know,
they're already hard enough to hear too, because it's like they don't have what we have. You know, it's just really quiet
exactly.
tires.
Yeah. And so like, I mean, I'm all for someone having like some type of speaker and like, you know, jamming out together. I just feel like I don't necessarily go to the skate park to be in my own little world. Like, I want to like talk to people, or like, you know, like be with my homies. And like,
I think it's interesting because I've had a shift myself now to where you're at, but I actually used to be the other way around more so.
yeah.
And I think it was just some shit I was going through when I was younger, you know, watched my grandpa die in front of my eyes and stuff. And once that happened, skateboarding was the place I was trying to go to escape from everybody else.
No, for sure.
So it was like one of those things, but I do realize now, like, that I'm out of that stuff. And when I go skate, like having not even just like the awareness, but being able to just let people know like you're one to talk to, like
For sure.
you can talk to me, like, because it's just such a friendly community when it comes to skateboarding. And I feel like once you throw those headphones in, you're kind of, whether you mean to do it or not, you're closing yourself off from, you know, that opportunity at the skate park. And it's
definitely
some great,
and see,
great friendships can happen.
Definitely. And see, that's the best thing about skating, is that like it really is for everyone and for everyone's like own reason. You know, like you could want to go out and skate by yourself to get away from everyone. That could be the motivation for skateboarding. And if that's the case, then wear the earphones, get psyched on the music that you're like listening to, and go learn some tricks. But for me personally, I was always just told that that's frowned upon, and I just like just never did it. And like I used watching skate videos and shit like that to get me excited to want to go and skate, you know, and like do all that sort of thing. So I just took it the other route, you know. But I did listen to music when I was younger, you know, like before I actually knew, or before I was told what I should and shouldn't be doing, I guess. But
do you bump music in the car on the way to a skate session to get hyped?
Yeah, for sure. Like I'll definitely listen to some shit, you know, and it'll like it's not necessarily like, okay, I'm putting this song on, I'm gonna go kill myself today, so like here's a like Iron Maiden song or something, you know. It's like
just go.
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna listen to music that I get psyched on, something that's like a good beat, and be like, all right, cool. I put myself in a good mode to be like, okay, I'm gonna have a fun skate and like enjoy my time with my friends and stuff, you know.
I think it's funny you said that, because I've had random moments where like an R&B song will come on, and it's just like the most random thing you wouldn't think you'd want to skate, like, or go like listen to before a skate session, but like, you know, you just get in the mood, you're jamming out, and it's like, I think it's really more so that rhythm, right?
For sure.
You just get hyped on it, you find that rhythm, and then that translates over to your board once you get onto it, because you're already kind of like in that mood in your head. So
yeah,
it has some validation there.
One of my guilty pleasures is Glamorous by Fergie.
Is it?
Like, yeah. If that song comes on, I'm like, damn, the song's dope. It's like yeah, exactly. It's got like a dope beat. It's like, I don't know, it's just sick. And like if that song comes on, it's like, cool, yeah, my vibe's gonna be up because the song is enjoyable to listen to, you know. So it's gonna like put me in a good spirit.
That's sick, man. That's so sick. So okay, so real quick, Adam, just thought of another question that I want to ask you. So you were saying watching skate videos and stuff. Now we have there's two people here in the skate game, right? You have the people who will watch Hollow Meets and the people who won't. Which one are you?
I won't.
Yep. I can't, dude.
Me either. It's just like, I don't know, like
I watch my homie Tanner's because I was actually in Minneapolis when he did it. I just didn't get to see him fall, and we were like at the spot, but he had one. But I will not watch any of them. Like, it's just, other than that one, I can't.
See, that's the thing, is like, I don't know how, like, I don't know, weird it might sound or whatever, but like I'm okay with watching a Hall of Meat if it's a pro skater, someone well known and someone like that, because in my head they're a pro skater for a reason, you know.
It's like you knew this was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, and they've dealt with a lot of shit, and it's like, okay, so they're like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, do you remember seeing like the Milton Martinez one where he tried to do the kickflip and he broke his ankle?
Yeah.
So like that's horrifying, you know. Seeing that happen to someone is horrifying, but to see that happen to little Johnny from the skate park down the street, as opposed to like Milton Martinez, the dude who goes the fastest in the
jumping
world,
off a roof. Come on now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, okay, like obviously I don't want to see it, but like I can
No,
handle
yeah.
seeing it. Like Foy's 50-50 where he lands on his head
With
or
the
whatever,
neck?
and like yeah,
Yeah, dude.
and it's like
Oh,
if I'd have seen some random person do that, like I'd be so upset. But it's
yes,
Foy,
yeah.
and you know that he's taken some shit like that before, so it's like
Yeah. You've seen it time
he's
and time
gonna handle
again.
it. Yeah, he's gonna handle it,
Yeah.
and like I just don't know how a random person's gonna handle it. You know?
Yeah, and see that's why I asked you because I remember just like growing up at Third Lair, and you mean you'd see people get broke off constantly because it's just
For
indoor skate
sure.
park. It's
Like
people
same
are
shit with
going
me.
hard. Yeah,
Yep.
like, people are going hard, and I remember we'd have like all nighters there, and there was one
Hmm.
specific all nighter where two people in a row got broke off, or it was like one
Yeah.
dude started seizing out like because he hit
Yeah.
his head so hard, and I think that was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen like in
For
skating when
sure.
somebody fell, and that happened to one of my friends. Do you know beloved Henry Garland? Love you, dog, but
Yeah, I
so
didn't.
yeah, he
I
was.
don't. I like met him a couple times for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
he's like a little brother to me and stuff. So he, I've seen that happen to him before, and then I've also
Yeah.
seen it. Dude, the same night that this dude was seizing out, another kid twisted his ankle completely around, and it was
Yeah.
just like these. I mean, I was actually younger at the time. They were probably like 13, 14. I think I
Uh
was
huh.
probably like 11, 10.
Yeah.
But dude, seeing that, like, it's crazy because then like I was able to like you said see it. I never really thought about it that way, like it being like, oh, this is just random person at the skate park, and then seeing a homie
Yeah.
and it being a pro. But it does make
Yeah.
more sense now that you say that because I was fine with seeing a skate or even in skate videos like somebody falling. It was like, oh
Yeah.
damn, that
Yeah.
sucks, bro. Oh, good shit, you landed it. Like it's
Yeah.
a little bit
Exactly.
different.
Yeah. It's like, see, I grew up in the same sort of situation where we had an indoor skate park, and then
That's sick.
I eventually ended up working there for like 5 years. And so, when you're
That's
working there, you have
cool.
to fucking,
Yeah.
but it's just like people get hurt on your watch when you're working.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
like you're the person who has to be in there and attend to some shit, and it's like,
Hmm.
uh that then was like, okay, these are like random little kids going and like knocking themselves out, putting their ankles on
Yeah.
backwards and like all this
Yeah.
random shit,
Getting
and it's
broke
like,
off.
yeah, it's like I don't necessarily like need to see that. I don't want these people on
No.
my watch. Like if something happens and if this uh problem is dealt with in the wrong way, that's my
Mhm.
fault. And like like
Yeah.
I don't want that, And then so like if someone gets hurt at the skate park now, it's like, yeah, I have the training, or not the training, but like I have the idea of like what to do,
Yeah.
but
At least
also
to
the
take care
pressure.
of them. Yeah.
Exactly, but the pressure of being like, I'm suing you if you fuck up is like not there.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
all you're doing there is like helping them no matter
Mhm.
what. But if
Yeah.
it's under someone else, like if you're working for someone and then helping someone, it's like it's
Yeah,
so different. It's
you have a fear of just getting in trouble, like, at
yeah,
that point, 'cause
exactly.
it's like you just even if you're doing nothing wrong, it's just I mean, dude, I was the same way. So grew up at Third Lair my whole life.
Hmm.
Luckily, Emrod, shout out to you. He's the owner, and I got to put my gym in there for a little while.
Oh,
My gym
sick.
was in Third Lair underneath their vert ramp. It was pretty
Oh,
tight.
dope.
Like, it was,
That's sick.
yeah, yeah, it was a good time, and I was out there for a while helping out with skate camps. Walking kids through like proper warm ups for how we should
Uh-huh.
warm up for skating and stuff like
Sick.
that. And I felt the same pressure though when I was out there, like as a worker there now, like instead of
Hmm.
just going out to the park to skate and like talk to people about what I
Yeah.
know, but now I
Yeah.
have my gym here, my business is here, all this stuff. It added this totally different aspect to it. So I
For
know
sure.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a scary situation to deal with when it's someone else's like health and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It
But
definitely is. So
but I don't
on
know.
that note, with your health and stuff and all that, do you last question to end it off, do you train at all? Do you exercise at all like regularly besides skating? And if not, why? Or if you do, what do you do?
So this is something that you hear everyone when you're younger. It's like you got to start stretching, man. You got to start doing shit because when you get
Yeah.
older, it's gonna fucking suck. And then it's like,
Yep.
it's always coming. The inevitable's always coming. Those people are always been right the whole time. You've never
Yep.
disputed that, but you finally click to that age, and you're like, oh shit,
Damn
like
it.
that's what they were talking about. Yeah, and so
Yep.
like now I feel like I'm at that age where if I don't start doing more stuff, like
Hmm.
skating might not last as long as I want it to, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
no, I preach that all the time. Whether you want to be a pro skateboarder and be in the Olympics one day, or you just want to skate with your homies, I'm
yeah,
sure you love skating enough to never want to stop. So the goal should
exactly,
always be longevity. It should always be because
exactly,
I want to be a 75-year-old at the park, shredding it up.
for sure. Yeah, for
You know?
sure. That for
Yeah.
real. And it's like I now I'm older and I take more time to foam roll and stuff because I've always had a
Yeah.
like a bad back. I've had sciatica and stuff like that. But
Oh,
just
okay.
recent
Yeah.
just recently went on a Deathwish trip and sat on my wallet in the van the entire time. We did a road trip from here to Texas and
Threw your
back.
hips off super bad.
Dude, so bad. And then
Yeah.
so couldn't lift my right leg.
So for
couldn't
those
do
who don't know,
anything.
real quick, not to cut you off, if you
No, go for
carry
it.
your wallet in your back pocket, move it before you sit down. Try not to sit on it as much as possible. It can throw off
For
your
real.
hips and back pain can start to kick up. So go ahead, continue.
For
Sorry, I
real.
just want to throw that out there.
No, I learned that the hard way. Please teach these young children the ways because they need it. I needed it when I was young because, yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't even really think about it. Then got out of the van for the last time, you know, to Texas and back. And so didn't really think much of it. But then I like was laying in bed and couldn't lift my right leg. I couldn't do anything. You know, I was in so much pain. And it was from my butt cheek all the way down into my ankle. And I was like, it has to be sciatica. You know, it's the sciatic nerve, whatever. So I went to a chiropractor, and I hate chiropractors. You know, I don't like being cracked up. I don't.
Yeah, you got to go to the right ones. I have a sport. If you're ever out here in Minnesota, let me know. I have an amazing sports chiro who doesn't do that type of stuff. He is A1. I've had other skateboarders go to him, and they're absolutely in love with him. So
yeah, sick.
I
I'm
feel
down.
you there though.
For sure. So I was like, all right, I'll just go because like maybe I need to be realigned because of my wallet and everything like that, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep, you have a herniated disc in your back, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right. He's like, you're gonna have to come back and see me like another 6 times for us to like really do anything. And I was like, 6 times, like, and then I'm like, yeah, you probably will help me in the long run. I'm not assuming that you won't, but that's what people do. That's what they do to get you in. And I'm like, I'm not really gonna fall for that. So I was like,
I'm not gonna like speak on somebody else's stuff or whatever, but you know, that shit just is, I don't know. That's not a good way to get somebody in with you for one, and two, I mean, that's just goofy to me. Like that's not the only thing you needed. Like,
see,
maybe the session might have helped, yes, but then you know, there's other training you can be doing that should have helped more, and all this other stuff, mobility drills you could have been doing. You know, that's why I love the chiro I have, because if the person that I send to him already has me, then luckily they have me as the trainer. But if I have a skater who just asks me like, hey, dude, do you have a chiro? And I send him to him, he knows enough. He went through PT school and he went through chiro school, so he understands both sides of the coin. And that's why, I think it's important to look at it like that. Because I mean, I'm glad you at least did that for yourself.
For sure. And like if he'd have came at me, it being like, okay, so I have these exercises you can do at home. You do all of this shit, and then I still want to see you, and we'll help you out and do the stuff that you won't be able to do at home. We'll do it here. Sweet.
Yeah, and hopefully by like this date you'll be good. But it's always indefinite. Like, oh, this many sessions. Oh, when do you think I'll be good? Oh, you know, let's get this many more sessions in.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's $70-$80 every time, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I do at home that's gonna like help the situation? So I was like,
what are you giving me other than this hour of time here? Like, usually I'm like 15 to 30 minutes. Like,
yeah. And, you know, he like massaged me. He like put me in this like weird contraption where my legs were tied up, and it kind of like pulled my spine, you know, to like straighten me out and all that sort of thing. So, and then he used like a Theragun and then all this other type of shit. And I was like, well, I mean, most of the other shit I could do at home. I bought a foam roller and then I started using that. And then a week after using it, the back pain's completely gone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, well,
all right.
Yeah, I don't know. So
that's cool that you were intuitive enough to figure that out on your own, though. I'm happy you were, because I mean, some people just fall into the trap of it, and it happens to a lot of people.
For sure. I just think I'm surrounded by smart enough people to take notes on what they do. You know, between like Neen and Shane Hale and stuff, like they all take such good care of themselves.
I gotta hopefully someday, if you could hook me up, man, tell him I want to talk to him. I'd love to get him on here, because
I'll see what I can do for sure.
That'd be amazing, because he's somebody that
it'd be a good conversation.
Yeah, I have so much respect for him, just from addiction, all the stuff he dealt with to where he's at now. You know, it's crazy. So I love that you have those people around, because you know, I just hope, you know, doing conversations like this, showing people, you know, like, hey, you can do a little bit more for your body, take a little bit more care of yourself, and it goes a long way. The little stuff you can do can go a long way for skateboarding.
For sure.
And
see, I'm like,
people see that.
For sure. See, I'm like definitely a culprit of not taking care of myself, like not eating healthy, not stretching, not doing all the things, you know.
I think that's the majority, not even of just skateboarders, though, man. I mean, that's just the average American nowadays. Like, it's just
for sure.
It is.
But after having the like problems with my back, you know, I've had an original problem with my back for the last, like, I don't know, it's been like 10, 12 years or something. But the new one with that, going on that trip with and then using the foam roller and stuff is all new. But it's like, that just shows to me there where it's like, okay, cool. like that can help a lot. So
Exactly.
that's a good step in the right direction, you know. So I don't
Yeah.
know, see where
That's
it
awesome.
goes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I love that we could end it on that for people. Like, hey, listen to your body. You know,
For sure.
hopefully you have a good crew around you. And
Hmm.
if not, there's always people like me and Jake here to steer you in the right directions.
For sure.
Jake,
Yeah,
do you want to? Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
still
Go ahead.
learning. Definitely still learning for sure. I got a lot to
Yeah.
learn.
Hey, it's that's life though. I mean, we're gonna continue to be learning. We should strive at least to do that, right?
For sure.
All right, everybody. Jake, do you have anything you want to say to leave it off with them today?
Just I appreciate you having me. Definitely on your birthday too. That's
Thank you. Hey, you topped it off for me. Topped it off for me, man.
I'm glad we could have a good conversation, and yeah, I'm stoked that we actually got to do it.
Yes, thank you. And real quick before I stop the recording, just let people know where can they find you on socials and stuff, and what do you do most?
I'm on Instagram most, and my handle is just at Jake Hayes, just my
Mm.
name.
I'll have it on the screen for them and stuff too.
Okay, sweet. I'm on TikTok too, but I don't know, probably not really as important. But it's I think Jake Hayes underscore underscore or something like that.
Okay,
But
I'll figure it out too, and I'll make sure it's all in the show notes.
for sure. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Jake Hayes.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course.